Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cryptic Heartland, episode 113. No, you're not. It's not an illusion. You only see me so far. I'm waiting for Jason to join here. He's trying to get logged in right now, real quick here. Um, Dan the man's out with his wife for their anniversary. I want to wish them happy anniversary. And then also, sorry. And Jake took the night off, so no biggie. We'll make it happen. Give us a second here. Just waiting for Jason to jump on in here whenever he's ready. While we wait, make sure you guys like, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on. That when we go live, you go live with us. You never know when we're gonna do a live thing here. We have some stuff in the works, hopefully, as long as everything goes according to plan. Anyways. All right. Sorry. I don't know if Jason's having some trouble or... No, it's never a dull moment. Hopefully people at home last night over the weekend, Friday and Saturday, got to watch David Omen's live podcast he did, Investigation Seance. It ran Friday night, 8 o'clock to about 2 or 3 in the morning, our time, both nights. I think it was maybe even 4 one night. But it was actually pretty good. He did some good interviews. Had some famous people on there. Had, good old Nick Groff from Ghost Adventures fame to, Ghost of Shepherdstown to Paranormal Lockdown, you name it. He was on a bunch of different shows. And then also, too, he had Elizabeth Saint on there, who was also on Ghost of Shepherdstown with Nick and everybody. So that was pretty neat to watch. Yeah, so it was interesting, yeah. And then I also had, of course, by phone, he had Dr. Barry Taft, which... If anybody's not familiar with Dr. Barry Taft, he's been on all the shows like Ghost Adventures, especially, and Ghost Hunters and stuff like that. He's a parapsychologist who studied at, I think, UCLA, and he was able to get his doctorate, or his in psychology and basically parapsychology. That type of stuff doesn't even exist anymore, for that matter. But he was on there. He was on the original Ghost Adventures. He wouldn't even go to the house anymore because just of all the high EMFs that happened there and things of that nature, he decided that he was done with it. Basically, he said if he went back to the house anymore, he'd probably kill him, which I kind of could relate to him. I was telling David last week on our episode, and I apologize for our audio for last week. It wasn't the greatest. We had some issues. Sorry, he's trying to message me. Anyway, sorry about that. But no, I had some issues when I was out there at David Omen's house back in December where I could feel the effects lingering days after I came back, and it took me about, like I said, a week or two to where I felt right. When I was out there, I just could feel you can just feel the high EMFs just basically like getting you. And it was just bizarre. The whole thing was just crazy. I mean, it's a fun place to be. I love the place. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I would love to go out there more often if it wasn't so far away, but it is what it is. So I think Jason's joining in now here. 1 second. He's trying to get signed in still. I can see him connecting. So, Jason, are you there?
How's it going, buddy?
Hey, man, what's up? They can't see your face.
I'm here. Are you?
They can hear you. They just can't see your face yet. I don't know what's going on.
That's good. You don't need to put my face up there.
I'm
That's
gonna.
all right.
Yeah, so Jason, he'll be here.
No, you're not. You don't have to.
We were testing some things off camera earlier, and for some reason I blackened out Jason. That's what that black void right next to him, right there. That's Jason. So, hey, Brandon.
I am the black void,
Yep. So it kind of made me chuckle last night. I was just telling about the whole David Omen episode. We had trouble with our audio last week, and then he did his Friday and Saturday, and I noticed he was having trouble with some of his stuff. So it made me feel a little better. Not great. Made me feel a little better. The fact that he even he brought in a professional production team to try to help him out, and he had troubles with some technical difficulties. So it happens. I mean, unfortunately, it happens. Oops.
It's a very painful feeling,
It is, especially when you want everything to go perfect, and next thing you know, nothing works.
Right. Can everybody hear me okay?
Who are you talking to? I'm just kidding. I don't know. Can they?
I don't
Can
know.
you guys hear Jason at home? Somebody tell me a yay, nay. Sorry. Um, hang on. I'm waiting for the response. Nobody's responding quite yet. There's responded to my stupid face. So, anyways, but
That's awesome.
they should be able to hear you though. Yeah.
Okay. Very
Uh,
good.
yeah, like I said, Jason and I were testing some things. Somehow I broke Jason's face, so I don't know what happened. It just, I don't know.
Cindy can.
Yeah, I
She
saw that.
she hears
Yeah, I
us.
saw that. Thanks, Cindy. But no, yeah, thanks you guys for all tuning in tonight. Like I said, we were hoping to come back with the full show this week, but then some things out of our control happened, so we decided to play play a little cautiously, and we just basically decided to do it this way. But oh, Renee says she can't wait to see your face, your pretty face, Jason. So, but yeah,
Hell no.
no, I was telling him, like I said,
Hey, I
about.
sent you a picture. You can put up the picture. You
Oh,
know.
that's too easy. I don't want to do that. I want the real deal.
No, that's okay. I'm sitting at home. Got the ball cap on. Got my Seinfeld shirt on. You know.
Right, right. But no, like I said, it was fun. I
Did you?
mean, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, did you explain to him why I'm not with you tonight?
No, I didn't explain anything. I just told him,
Okay.
wait some things. You do what you want.
Oh, okay. No, just the coronavirus kind of hit a little too close to home, so we are doing everything we can to stay away from everybody, and don't know what that means for my job and stuff like that. So, you know, so now I'm just the black void next to Leo. Yeah.
No, you're not. Your picture's there.
Don't lie.
You're here.
I don't see it.
Oh, you will soon enough. So that will blow you up even
Ah,
better.
there.
No, you're good.
That's my mom in the background.
Yeah,
My mom and my dad.
Yeah.
She told me, "Don't put me on the podcast anymore."
Too late. Too late. You're on there. No, but yeah.
That's
So
funny.
yeah, like I said, we decided to do this via Zoom tonight, just for the fact that just to play it safe, because
Yeah.
don't want anybody to get infected. And Jason's and his families, for the most part, is fine. It's just they're taking precautions on their end, so we want to make sure everybody's safe and secure everywhere we go. So, which these things happen. It's that time of well, it's just that year for this to happen. Unfortunately, I mean nothing we can
Yeah,
really
unfortunately.
do about it. So, but yeah,
So did you watch all of David Omen?
I tried to. Friday night was kind of unusual. I know some people were hitting us up on Cryptic Heartland. So
Yeah.
what happened was he had some trouble with his live feed, so he ended up going on Vimeo, which I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. It's just another servicing. We can go on live stream, whatever, and basically the Friday nights end up being almost free, pretty much. So
Yeah.
and so he couldn't do live chat like we do. You can do live chat. He couldn't. It was just some technical, even audio issues. Like you could hear his. They were wearing microphones, and you could hear him, but you couldn't hear some of his guests. And it was just kind of a weird thing. But once they started rolling,
Yeah.
especially with like when they had the camera crew following them in there, that was pretty neat. That actually turned out great with the investigative part. If you stayed up late for that, it was real. I can't remember what time that hit, but they had some cool things going on, which. I mean, it was just interesting to see. You could see some orbs happening. I think one of the figurines got knocked over again. They were hearing
Oh,
voices.
seriously?
Yeah, they were hearing voices galore. Now, I tuned out for 2 seconds. I ran to use the restroom. Too much information, I know. But I stepped out for a minute, and I came back, and the feed was different. So I don't know if they had I think they had an earthquake. So I think I'm not sure
really?
if that's why the figurine got knocked down. I missed that part, and you can't rewind on their stream. It won't let you go back, but it's okay. So, anyways, they had some interesting things going on out there. Yeah, not to mention they were talking about it yesterday out in Santa Ana, which is a little bit north, I think, of LA, in between them and San Francisco. They were getting wildfires out there too, so it was like raining ash almost
Oh yeah.
all over LA too. So it's just a crazy series of events, unfortunately for David and everything. But everything turned out great. Like I said, I got to watch him talk with Nick Groff and Elizabeth Saint last night. For like I said, they're from Ghost of Shepherdstown on Travel Channel or the Discovery Channel, excuse me. I think one of the two, anyways. Travel Channel, I believe. But Nick, is also was originally one of the original Ghost Adventures crew with Zach and Aaron, and then
Right.
he ended up leaving
Yeah.
to do his own things. So, but yeah, he was out there talking about it. They're gonna go out sometime, I think September, October, and try to do an actual live investigation with David if Corona plays nicely.
Sweet.
So, which we will too. I went back, like I said, I got the opportunity to go back in December to investigate. David told us, again last week, hey, when you guys are all, everything's all said and done, come back out, and as a group, and we'll get you out here and investigate, and hopefully he cooks some of his world famous ribs, because man, they had him on the podcast last night or their show last night, and they looked amazing. I was like, man, I want to take a taste. I didn't get a chance to last time because it was just me, and he usually does it for like bigger crowds. So that's the thinking, anyways. He'll cook up some ribs for us, and I guess some chicken and stuff. And he used to own some kind of restaurant or some kind of barbecue place that he does this.
I wondered what he did in life. I mean, besides just the house,
Well,
but
his dad was in like construction, and also did rentals and stuff like that around L.A. Because that's how David got his house. His dad helped him set everything up and built it, and got the workers and whatnot. So it's an amazing house. It's on the side of a mountain, which is just incredible. So
do you know if did he pick that spot on purpose?
no, his dad. They were looking for a spot. He was renting a couple places. He's like, I want to build a house. So his dad was keeping an eye out on places, and it's in the book, The Ghost of Cielo Drive. It talks about it, and he says he was sleeping, and his dad woke him up one early morning. He's like, David, get out here! I found the perfect place for you. And he's like, what, Dad? He's like, get over here. How fast can you be here? He's like, I don't know. So basically, I'll be out there as soon as I can. So he went out there and he's looking around. He's like, this looks vaguely familiar. This area, what is so special about this area, and why is this land? The plot is so cheap, and it's just like it seems a little too convenient for him. So he ended up getting a great deal on it, and then he found out. The more he looked around, he's like, oh, this is why. Because this is, close to the murders where Sharon Tate was murdered, by the Manson family. And
Right.
now it's all starting to add up. That's why it was probably so cheap, Plus, like I said, it's on the side of a mountain. It creates some unique challenges as far as them having to even build a place. Because it's not on stilts, per se. It's on these, I can't remember what they call them, these big metal pipes
Right.
that goes into the earth. And they go down, many feet into the ground to support them. But the thing that I was thinking about when we were out in California this past summer, I was on a tub for vacation with the family. They take you on a tour around there if you do one of the touristy things. We went to this tour of the stars homes, and they point out a particular house that's on the edge of a cliff like that, just like that, and it looks like I can't think what house it is. Anyways, it's built on the cliff, whatever, and has these big support beams and stuff that just hang out. And it's like, man, people were like, how we're asking questions like, how is that safe? Especially with you guys have earthquakes out here. And he's like, you know what? That is the safest form of protection. They were saying to as far as prevent earthquakes. Damage is these houses on a cliff, basically on the edge. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I don't know how, but it's freaking spooky as hell. That's all I know. But yeah, so so David's house is like that too, where he's able to basically they should be supported very well. Shouldn't I'm sure they still feel the earthquakes and stuff, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Wow. So another question.
Yeah,
Another question.
Earthquake.
And you probably already answered this many times, but why his house? Why is the haunting just at that house?
Well, and it's not. His neighbors have it too.
They just don't. They don't do anything about it.
They don't embrace it as much as David does. David, he's a single guy, and they're husband and wives have been there for years. Like actually, there was two houses I want to say when the actual murders happened in 1969. That the next morning, because it happened on August 9th, well August 8th and the 9th, the maid came to start working at there's the Polanski, Roman Polanski, the famous director from what do you call it? Oh, I'm drawing a blank right now. Damn it, Rosemary's Baby. He's the director of Rosemary's Baby and a couple other things. It was his house with his wife Sharon Tate. Anyways, their maid came the next day and discovered the bodies, and came running out the property screaming, went banging on door to door, and finally somebody let her in and said call the police because The owners are dead. Basically, his body's everywhere. Now, the thing is, I didn't know this till later on, years after the fact, was the whole plot was obviously Charles Manson. He knew the house because he went to visit there before the Polanskis were ever there, and he was going to visit a guy named Terry Melcher, who was the son of an actress named Doris Day. For the people that know who she is, she's older, obviously. Um, but he was a music producer, and Manson was big into folk songs, the '60s summer of love kind of thing. So he was basically trying to get produced by Terry Melcher, who happens also to be, friends of the Beach Boys, Dennis Wilson and them guys. And so, Manson hung out with the Wilsons, should I say, and Beach Boys. And as a matter of fact, the Beach Boys covered one of Manson's songs on one of their albums, which is kind of weird, but after the fact, after all this murder happened. But anyways, he went there, and Terry's like, yeah, we'll produce you, And actually, Terry Melcher was dating, if anybody, just as like I said, going back in TV, movie history, he was dating Candace Bergman, which I don't know if you know who that, or Bergen, I think her name is. She was,
Oh, that's right.
She's the actress, they used to have her TV show on CBS. I can't remember what show it was called, but she's just as famous as them. But yeah, so she actually met Manson too. She always thought he was a creepy little guy, which he is, obviously was. But anyways, so Manson was firm about I want to get my music produced. I want to produce whatever, and Terry Melcher's like, yeah, I'll do it for you, and he never would. So Manson said, go up to that house on Cielo Drive and kill everybody. As a matter of fact, there's houses up there on the street, on the way up there. Kill them people too. So they were supposed to go out and kill everybody in that house, which they did. The 5 people they killed, and then also the neighbors. But according to Tex Watson, because of this first incident with Sharon Tate, it was such a struggle. That's why Manson went the next day to help him at the La Bianca house, because he was pissed off how they did it. He said, "You guys created a huge mess. It shouldn't have been that difficult. You tie him up, you kill him, it's over." But he was like, "I'll show you how it's done." So anyway, the first night at the Sharon Tate house, after the first incident with them killing everybody, Tex Watson was quoted saying, "I was too tired. Basically, we couldn't kill the rest of the people, so we just said, let's just go home. We'll just say we did it." To tell Manson, yeah, we did it. Yeah, everything's taken care of, kind of a thing, even though they didn't do it. So those neighbors are pretty lucky, actually, which is wild in itself. So now, as far as David's house goes, this is where Dr. Barry Taft comes in. Were you listening when I said about that earlier about Dr. Barry Taft? You probably weren't on yet, I don't think, Jason. But
no, I was still trying to get on here.
Okay, he's the parapsychologist for. He's like a parapsychologist. He used to be on Ghost Adventures every now and then. He's been on a couple other shows, ghost hunting shows. But on the particular episode with the Sharon Tate, when Zach and them went to the house to investigate, he wouldn't go to the house at all. He said, "I'll meet with you guys off camera, or not off camera, off location somewhere else." But I refuse to go back there because I've been there 2-3 times, and every time I've got there, I've ended up in the ER basically. It's making me sick. He said, "I'm afraid if I go there one more time, I'm gonna die, basically. So fear of my health." I'm like, no, I'm good. So he did talk to him about it, and the reason why it's such a crazy, even to this day, is because it has high EMF there, and it's like, and it's kind of what I knew that going into it back in December, but I didn't know what to expect until I actually got there, and I felt it. You can just feel it. It feels like you're swimming in water, kind of, in just waves, and you're just getting pounded in the head with water, but it's actually EMF waves. It's the most bizarre thing, and that's why when the podcast was happening, his podcast, and the REM pods was just going crazy, I tried to stay in it as long as I could, but I started feeling nauseous. I thought I was gonna pass out, number one, and I'm like I had to sit down, and as soon as I sat down, the the REM pod just quit, and that's when his podcast abruptly just ended. Nobody touched anything, computer, anything. It was just him and I in the house, and all of a sudden, it's like all the energy got sucked out of the room, and then I felt like crap. I'm like, dang it, I shouldn't have sat down. I should have just took it and dealt with it, but I didn't want to die, number one, myself, because it was that strong, man. It was bizarre, and I think that's why the activity obviously is so intense. That's why because he'll tell you it's not only the only victims are not only people that haunt my house. It just happens to be that they haunt my house. There's also a Native American spirit. There's other spirits there too. which it makes me wonder, and kind of like you and I can attest to, is how many places do we go that we bring stuff with us? You know, he has all these people come in from all over. Are they bringing these spirits in? You know, what do you think about that?
The Native American part, all
Just
that.
spirits in general, us tracking spirits around, people bringing spirits into his house, just random things.
Oh well, we know that that's most likely true. I mean, we all know that you've probably got something connected to you, of course. I mean, think about all the places we've been together and stuff like that. Even places that you've gone on your own.
Right.
Um,
Well, you too.
Not me. I don't do shit. What are you talking
Hey,
about?
your mom is on the back. She's actually
I
watching
know.
too, just so you know.
I know she is. No, I'm sure that there is things that are connected to us. I mean, hell, like I said, I posted in the chat that I've been doing this since '09 with the group, and you and Renee since 2011. I say 2010, but you say 2011. um, but it, yeah, I mean, we've seen some creepy stuff that I know can and probably is following us. I'm
Right.
sure. So when you go to like anybody's house, like when we go to investigate, how can we say that we're actually interacting with the spirit that they're dealing with, and we're not dealing with everything that we are bringing into the house, aka Belvedere, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we don't know. Well, and even if we hadn't gone anywhere, and this is our first time going to these places, how do we even know that we're even interacting with what they say is there? You know, we don't know that. We're just taking it for face value. There's no proof to this. I mean, I think if somebody were to discover, the scientific proof that ghosts actually do exist, and here it is right next to me, sitting right next to the chair next to me is whoever, and they start talking on camera or whatever, I think nobody's going to believe the fact that that's accurate or not. We can only assume because when we ask the probing questions, sometimes we get the same claims. We're able to duplicate the claims that the owner is experiencing, or we get names sometimes. But even then, you have to take it with a grain of salt. It may not be the name. I mean, our famous case, out of the Forum Theater here in Wichita, Kansas, we got the pastor to say his name, who died in 1960. Who didn't even die in Wichita. He died in Shreveport, Louisiana, in the '60s. But yet
Exactly.
he's haunting a Wichita location because that's where he was at one point. It's just like we
And
actually had his name.
yeah, yeah, and I feel like that's because something traumatic happened there that kept him like a stamp in time.
Sure.
Like a part of his spirit, maybe, if you think about it, went back there just because of what happened there.
Right.
We don't know what happened there. We can speculate all we want, but I don't know. It's crazy to think that that's how all this works, but we still don't even know how the universe works. So after we, you know, I don't know. You can go into all kinds of weird realms with, why are we here? What happens to us after we die? I get, told at work that there's no such thing as human spirits or anything, human ghosts. It's not that. It's all demonic. It's all this or that. And I'm like, okay, whatever, people.
And maybe it is,
But
but once again, who's to say that's what it is? I mean, just because one person claims that they have a gift, or maybe does have a gift, and that's all they can see. I mean, what about
right,
the other spirits roaming around? Whether it's an orb, a dust particle orb, whatever orb, whether it's a shadow figure, whether it's a white mist, whether it's a we haven't even touched this base yet. What about there's different colors like brown and red and different green and different other mists like that. There's other mists like that that actually exist out there, and
right.
I mean,
So, do you
go ahead.
think the mist? Do you think the mist, the different colored mist, is the same as the different colored orbs that we have seen, like out in Tahlequah and stuff like that? We have actually seen those kind of different shaped orbs that are
Right.
different colors. What does that represent? What do you think that is? Do you think that is different types of spirits all roaming around each other, or they're just different colors so that they can distinguish between each other?
No, I think it has to do with the type of energy. Like, it's how can we put this? I mean, you obviously have the the spectrum of colors. There's obviously red, green, all that whole that whole thing. Well,
Right.
that's also the same thing with the light spectrums, the same way where you have infrared, ultraviolet, all those different type of light waves, X-rays and stuff like that. It's the same thing. I think it's a type of energy that's getting transmitted outward. Now, what the red stands for, nobody really knows. I mean, does that mean it's an angry spirit? Well, maybe. Who knows?
Right. I
Maybe
don't
it's
know.
just a red spirit. I mean, it's kind of like the stars. They're different colors. But we have had the opportunity and documented. We've seen red ones. We've seen green ones. We've seen basically white ones. We've seen oranges,
Yellow.
yellowish orange. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, all in
Yeah.
the same location. That doesn't make sense because what's funny is on our recording, the stuff in the video we have them captured. We're pointing and we're talking about these things, and we're all saying, "Yeah, I see this thing. It's right there." And one person's pointing that way, like Scooby Doo, and the other one's pointing that way, but we're saying, "Yeah, I see it. It's a green one. No, it's a red one." It's like, wait a minute. So you're seeing a different one than I'm seeing, but we're seeing it at the same time, but different locations. So it's like, what does this mean? It's nobody knows, but it's the fact that we did document them, captured them, and everybody got to see them that was there in a different shape, form, and we've heard noises while these were going on. We've heard voices. Now, is it the same spirit? I don't know. But this is the same location where I've only been there. The very first time I ever went there, it's where it called my name out in a graveyard in northeast Oklahoma, a place I'd never even been to ever until that day.
Right.
So it should never know my name. But yeah, I don't know as far as the energy goes, the colors and stuff like that. I think they do play a part in that. I mean, that's what we've been trying to figure out behind the scenes along the way when we're doing investigations. What are your thoughts on this?
So I got a question for you
I asked
on
the questions.
stuff. Damn it.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No. Okay. So for all the years you've been doing this,
Yep.
have you come up with a conclusion on certain aspects of the paranormal?
What's a good
Your own
question?
personal belief on it,
Well,
given everything you've encountered.
like I tell people, I'm not here to tell you that ghosts are real or not real. I'll never say, you know what, you're wrong. Ghosts are real. I know. I would never do that. I'll let you form your own opinion because who the hell am I to tell you what's right and what's wrong? I'm nobody.
You're a ghost hunter.
Well, but yeah. But I always follow it up with, but I've known what I've experienced, I've seen, and documented that I can tell you I've seen something. So,
Right.
but as far as definite conclusions, I don't think so. I don't think we'll ever know because, like I said, the minute we do, I think, why am I doing this anymore? We're done. My work's here done. We figured it out. We solved one of life's mysteries, kind of a thing, possibly. You know, uh, Jason, I know what you're listening to.
What's that?
I know what you're listening to. That's funny. Oh, they can't see you. I can see you off camera lifting your headphones off. You're getting background noise.
Oh, I'm listening to the back. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear it, but I don't think they can hear it. So,
Certain
but
little man.
yeah. So, what do you think? Have you figured out anything definite in all the years? Because you said, a year
I
or
know
two on
nothing.
this. You know nothing. Hey, do you believe
No, I
Bigfoot?
mean, and even
Your shirt says so.
well,
Yeah.
my shirt says so. But I believed in Bigfoot back when I was in grade school. So
Right.
that's never wavered or changed in me. Especially since doing and being part of Bigfoot in Kansas, I've actually uh, the things we ran into, the footprints we have found, the noises, that
The possible
physical evidence right there, and
Right.
stuff being thrown at us and stuff. Now, I don't know. It's when it comes to the actual spirits and stuff, I truly believe it's all there. We are encountering it, we are hearing it, they are talking to us. Hell, something physically attacked, myself and Dan just last weekend.
Right.
And it's like it's one of those things that is oh, Renee, so people can hear the little man in the background
Oh.
yelling. So
Hey, that's real
thanks.
life, people.
Yeah, it's the torture going on in the background behind me. Um, I don't know, because people all my life, everyone's always based on everything is biblical and how they see things through the biblical view. As if for me, it's I don't know. I don't look at it in any possible way of that. I eliminate that from my perspective of things. I deal with what I see, what I hear, what I encounter, and deal with it. Um, when things are calling out our names and there's nobody freaking there,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's real. It's somebody intelligent. We don't know who it is. A lot of times, they're not going to tell us their name. They're not going to like say, "Hey, I'm over here,"
Right.
and stuff like that. But you know, is it possibility of interdimensional? I don't know. It's one of those things. I mean, it's a possibility, right?
Sure.
Is it like when we pass on, do we go over to the next realm to something else? And now they're seeing us, but yet able to only interact with us in a certain way.
Right.
You know, it's, because maybe we don't need this physical body after a while. We just go on.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, that also brings up the point, kind of like you were saying about as far as like you were trying to lean towards religion a little bit, but that kind of like the energy, like the soul of a person when somebody passes away. I mean, people have physically seen something coming out of a body, floating away, that they equate to being a soul, basically. Now, is it? I don't know. But it's just like, what is that? And is that what ghosts really are? Is it just a soul? I mean, who knows? It's the same thing. Like, we don't even know what ghosts are really, other than their energy, possibly. That, I mean, well, everything has energy.
I
So,
mean, that's what we are. I mean, basically, you take away the bones and the skin and all that stuff. I mean, deep inside it, it's energy.
yep,
It's what helps us function and everything like that. So,
definitely.
um, I don't know. I mean, and then you have to, if you jump into like part of the biblical stuff, then you have purgatory. Is that where we go before we figure out whether we move on from a location, or do we decide to come back to a location to screw with people or talk with people or be around things that were familiar to us when we were alive?
Right. And what is purgatory?
I mean, yeah, I mean, everybody has a theory because everybody's had time to think about it, but it's different when you're actually doing the investigation, having that interaction with a spirit and stuff like that, and when they're physically attacking you and stuff like that, and it goes along with what you're hearing and what's happening.
Right.
It's a mind. It blows your mind sometimes.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Trying to think what I was going to say. You made me think about something else. Dang it. I can't remember what it was
Oh
now.
man, I made you think, but then you forgot.
Yeah. Oh, I know what it was. You were talking about, what'd you say? It had to do with going back to locations and stuff like that with tragedies and stuff like that, as far as is that what's creating the activity? Well, does that lead to the point, maybe possibly, that's why everywhere you go is haunted? Because look at all the tragedy that's everywhere. I mean, but long before we were here, there was things happening, creatures getting killed, dinosaurs allegedly. I don't know.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
I mean, all that stuff, happened.
allegedly.
There's wars everywhere. There's people going across the United States because of whatever to go to to go get gold, head west, kind of a thing. And smallpox happened or tuberculosis happened. There's always something going on. Now we're in mid of a pandemic basically, and Corona's happening, and it's taking people's lives. I mean, so you got all this energy that has to go somewhere. I mean, it was going to radiate outwards possibly, and or it should.
Yeah,
And maybe that's
right.
what spirits are. Maybe that's what creates the spirits. And maybe that's why everything's so haunted because of this. I mean, it's just feeding on. I mean, the Earth itself, it has limestone and granite and marble and everything in the actual core, whatever on the surface, whatever. That it's just a hot spot, for giving off energies, basically.
Well, with the Earth made the way it is, and what geologists and scientists have all figured out from the Earth itself,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're all connected with this. You know, we're connected with the land. We're definitely connected with the land. Um, some people more so than others, especially different, uh, say like Native Americans, maybe more so than the white man who runs around doing whatever the hell we want to. Um, it just stuff like that. I think in the creation of everything and how it's made, we are 100% connected, and it feeds. I mean, every time we're with a in a building, say like we go to well, one of my favorite places is up in Ness City. The whole building is nothing but limestone,
Right.
and every time we have a storm that hits that place, it seems like the activity really does pick up. And any location that's near a river or body of water or something like that, it's you know I don't know. We're
Yeah.
connected. It's definitely with the energy inside us, with the earth itself too.
Yeah, and it's never. It's always cracks me up every time I go out to Nest City to that building you're talking about. The oh, what do you call it? First National Bank or whatever, Nest County Bank, I guess is what it's called. Sorry, I knew it come.
Bank
I knew it
building.
come to me eventually. Um, every time I go out there, it does rain. Not necessarily hard, but or anything like that. It's just there's always a storm. It seems like that always brews that. Every time I've been out there, anyways. I mean, it's never failed, which I like because like you said, it creates the energy in the air, the atmosphere. The barometer picks up and whatever.
Right.
But then you get some of those places where we've been where it also, like Oberlin, when it downpoured and we had to stop for a little while because everything's contaminated. The buildings are just rattling, and you can't hear anything, even though we did
Right.
have some good activity. The infamous flashlight and the soldier interacting with us, which was amazing. We need to play that one of these days because that was pretty intense. But Andy had a good question here. Let's go back real quick. Andy, I apologize. She said, "Do you think spirits travel because whatever place is familiar, whatever place they go to is familiar?" Or she also
Right.
asked, "What do you think? Why do you think spirits stay in one place, or do they?"
Well, I mean, I think overall, I believe my personal opinion is that the spirits bounce around wherever they want to. I think they continue to go back to places that are familiar. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, even in our lives today, we go back to places that are familiar.
Right.
When it comes to maybe they're connected to a family member or a friend that's still there, and either watching over them or wanting to screw with them or something like that, because that would be fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think spirits actually do move around, and I think that different spirits can come in and um, I don't know, maybe pretend to be who that person was or that spirit was at the time.
Right.
And that's why we get different reactions, different results sometimes, just because I think it's not the same spirit each time we go to some place,
Sure.
So,
Yeah. I mean,
because, I mean, if people are telling stories or, out loud in a location or anything like that, yeah, spirits are going to hear that too.
yeah.
And if
Definitely.
people are telling stories, I think that helps change the atmosphere in a way too. If you're not even getting the story right,
Very true. Yeah. I like all those memes that say that quote that kind of thing. It's talking about us saying one thing and that's not what I said, and it makes they're making
yeah,
fun of us for saying the wrong thing. Basically, it's like, oh,
oh yeah,
I mean, how much
oh
are we
yeah.
getting it wrong? You're in trouble, Jason.
What did I do?
You'll see soon enough. Got your face. Anyways,
Oh,
you'll be
oh
joining me.
shit.
You'll be joining me live here soon enough.
Oh
I
no,
knew I'd
I
get you
like the
sooner, but
picture better.
you can like all you want. It's happening. Uh,
Stop messing with shit.
it's kind of weird though, cause you're like, I don't know, weird. Your pictures. I'll bring you in here in a second. But anywho, but no, it's just crazy. Everything is just to think what possibility is as far as I mean just life in general. What'd you do?
Yeah.
Sorry, something happened with you again.
What do you mean? What did I do? Haha.
you're breaking. Anyways, um, I got distracted. Sorry. I'm trying to think what else. No, it's just like I said. I don't know if we'll ever figure out what ghosts truly are, or the spirits, or how to differentiate what each one means as far as colors wise
Yeah.
goes, or
The, when it comes to stuff like that, I feel like no, maybe we're not getting all the answers we can, but certain situations, like when Jake and I do the Frank's Box session,
uh
not Frank doing the Jake's Box session, but
huh.
but Jake doing the Frank's Box session.
Wait, what?
Gotta
I
love
know what you
Rhodes.
meant. He likes to say.
um, but when him and I, like this last case that we did, some of the results coming out, like I was barely even saying anything out loud, and even Dan can attest that it was a crazy moment of communication between me and at least 3 or 4 spirits that were coming through the spirit box. And Jake not having a clue what we're asking or what's being going on around him. He's just saying out loud what he hears.
Right.
And it was like we were actually coming up with a good storyline that was amazing. All coming from their reactions to us. And it's almost like opening a tiny door to the past and finding that. I mean, Chris and Renee have done that with us. They're at the shop in Dodge City and stuff. Some of the stuff that comes out is amazing.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Just because it's like we're getting. Well, for the people that don't really know what we're talking about, the Frank's Box is where somebody has. We did it on our 100th episode celebration. It's where you put noise canceling headphones on. You can do it one of two ways. You can pump. Most of the time we'll use a SB7 spirit box, some kind of spirit box attached to that, so whatever's coming through, only the person with the headphones on can hear, and the people around him, they can't hear the people outside of him talking. Like if Jake was the one sitting down and we were to basically ask questions outside, he wouldn't be able to hear what we were asking. So anyways, he just gives responses as far as what he thinks is being said, or what is being said, whatever he hears, whether it's something we ask directly or not, he's going to give an answer basically. So
Right.
you've done that before, right? You've done the spirit box or the SB Frank. I haven't yet.
Frank's Box. Yeah, I've done it in
Dodge
I've
City.
done it in Dodge City. Haven't done it anywhere else really. I mean, I did it on our 100th celebration. I did it for a little bit, and my reaction, according to Andy, was pretty much the same that Roth was having while sitting in that chair.
Gotcha.
So, we were reacting the same exact way with having something, but that was totally different, kind of in a way with our eyes shut and everything, with the light, almost being alone. But when Jake's doing that with me, we usually have the room full of people, and so everyone gets to hear, and it really kind of, I won't say that it freaks out people, but I don't know. It's very interesting for everybody.
Right. I'm gonna take you off again. I think your possession that you have on you is playing havoc with the podcast. So I'll put your beautiful picture back up with your mom behind you.
Man, that's
Yes,
the hell am I staring at?
it like got frozen all of a sudden when I did that, so I'm gonna take it off. So
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, but no, I've used just a basic spirit box for call and response. I've done the Gansfield experiment where you put the headphones on, or the noise canceling headphones on with the red light, like we did at the 100th episode also celebration.
Right.
And I've caught some crazy things. Just to set the record straight, I know there's some misconception out there, some of the stories going on there. We did do this during a episode of our Halloween episode a few years back. 2 people did it, a former teammate and myself. The former teammate says the reason he stopped communicating with this thing is because it touched him, just private supposedly. I don't know, and I didn't see it. I'm not standing right there, but you can't tell. So, anyways, I decided to do it, and I lasted for about a good almost two
Can I call
hours.
bullshit on that?
I got on for about 2 hours, whatever, and had some weird things. I heard some people talking, whispering, but it wasn't like groundbreaking or anything like that. So, but we did hear about the same thing. We kept hearing the same person talking and walking, so it is what it is. But then we did it in another location in Delano. Now this is where the story got a little twisted a little bit, just because we did it a couple times, and only the person that was talking about it wasn't there for that part of it. But I think got the story mixed up a little bit. So um, we were in the basement, and it was on our. I was at the time live on Everyday Legacy Paranormal's Facebook page, broadcasting it live on Facebook, and I'm under, of course, doing the Gansfield, and we're in that kind of it's a basement of sorts, but it's not really. It's like you have to go through the floorboards to get to this thing area. It's you crawl to the floor basically, and it's a cellar kind of a thing. But I remember after the fact, Jason was talking about how you could see eye shine behind me in the crawl space. But I can't even talk. Good lord, what had happened? What had happened was when I was doing it in that basement, I could hear a woman whispering in my ear, and she kept like going around my ear, just back of my head. Wouldn't come to the front of me, just back and forth on each side, like whispering to me, kind of. And I couldn't make out the language. I'm like, what is this language she's saying? It was bizarre. And it was hot in that basement, so I had shorts on. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh my god, I feel like something's crawling on me, like kind of like, and I even describe it as being serpentine, like a snake, kind of like. It was just like kind of a little odd. And so be it. I kept on going with the Gansfield experiment, and then I got it done, and somebody else wanted to try it. A female that happened to be there from another team was there, and she tried it. And while she was doing that, I was just filming on Cryptic Heartland, or I'm sorry, on Facebook, on ELP's Facebook page. So Roth and another person decided to do a Ouija board experiment right next to this person. So they're kind of tucked back in the corner a little bit doing the experiment. Well, they actually say it's moving, which I always take with a grain of salt with those boards because it's, and I'll tell you why in a second. Well, I'll just tell you right now. The reason I will take it with a grain of salt with those Ouija boards and spirit boards, even the one we tried the other day, is because it's been proven time and time again is they think people are, whether intentionally moving it or moving it on purpose, they think it's because you're looking at it and concentrating on it. Because I guess it's been tested over and over, and we should test this theory sometime. If people that are blindfolded cannot make the planchette move on the Ouija board, allegedly, that's what the studies have been said. That's why people take it with a grain of salt when it comes to Ouija boards, whether they work or not. That is. So, but anyways, going back to this night in Delano, Roth and another person was doing that, and they started coming up with a name, and they were like, started spelling it out, and I'm listening to them, and I'm like, okay, and and it doesn't sound like a common name, and I know it's not. They didn't know what it was at first. They said it. I'm like, oh my god! I thought about it for a second, and I'm like, that's a demon name. I'm fairly certain. So I pulled it up on my phone, and sure enough, the first thing that popped up was a demon name with what they spelled out. I didn't tell them this at the time in that moment. Um, it's a female, which I kept hearing that female coming back and forth, talking in a weird dialect to me, a language I didn't understand, and then she takes the shape of a serpent or a snake-like creature, and that's all that was happening, down in that basement I was experiencing in that moment. Which I had laughed it off before that because this is the second time we'd been in there in about 2 weeks. We went back to this last time because the owners were getting ready to get rid of the place. And they're like, you guys can have it one more time. Just go do whatever you want to do. Let us know if you have any answers or any original things that you had discovered. Anyways, we went back. The very first time we went there, I was in the basement, that same location, just doing a spirit box session through SP7, and it said demon on there, and I laughed it off the week, 2 weeks before that. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, you're a demon. I believe you, kind of wink, wink. Well, then fast forward 2 weeks later, and I do that at Gansfield, and maybe I did encounter a demon. Who knows? I mean, like I said, because I know Roth wouldn't have come up with that name, that demon's name, because it's not a common name. It's not your typical demon name. It's one that's, yeah, it's unheard of, basically. And but the fact it was a woman and serpentine-like was very bizarre. It's just craziness, but yeah. I don't know. But yeah, so what do you think about the whole Ouija board thing, what I just mentioned, as far as they supposedly scientists had tried it, and like I said, we'll try it. See if we can't blindfold
I'll
ourselves
let
and
you
see.
try it.
I'll try it. I've done the Bob's board obviously, and
Yeah.
it never works. But I always have a lingering effect days later, which is I don't know if that's because of it, but whatever.
I don't know. You and I, we used to like poke fun at the Ouija board thing just because you can buy it in the store. It's it's something that kids of all ages have tried. It seems like,
Right.
and I don't know. I feel like it's the same as doing a ghost box session. With the SB7 and stuff like that. You're
Exactly.
you're you're inviting it.
Yep.
You're talking to it. You're asking for answers, and it's just a kind of a more creepy way of doing it, I guess.
Well, especially because
Uh,
you see physically moving. This thing can move the board, allegedly.
I would love to see it actually move and be a part of that. I think it's crap, but that's just me. I don't know. I've done the boss board with you and everything, and we just sat
Oh yeah.
there. It was you, me, and Corey, and we're just
Right.
sitting there, and nothing happened. But we know that there's spirits there at the shop.
Well, and the thing
Yeah,
is, nothing was happening with the board, you mean, but there was things
yeah,
going around us in that room
yeah.
next adjacent to us. There was physically things we could see with shadows. We could see the glowing orbs. Could hear the voices. It's like they wouldn't come near it. It's just like
Right.
you're doing something, but we're not gonna mess with you because you're messing with this board. Maybe that's just my thinking on it. But I'll try it again. I'm not. I'll test the waters just for
Yeah.
to further our craft. We'll say as far as ghost hunting and stuff goes, because and on all and on in all honesty, God, I need to quit putting two words together when I have the same letters. In all honesty, it's not any different also than using a digital recorder. You're
Exactly.
inviting a spirit. Hey, are you here? Kind of a thing. Talking to this little device right here. Uh, talking to this little device right here. Have my recorder
Right.
here. Just kidding around. Um, you're inviting something, and how many times do we open and close these kind of doorways to the other side or to the portals, we'll say, or whatever? We don't normally. So you're definitely maybe that's why we get uh,
Yeah.
attachments. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, when we do the spirit box, it's not like we ever. I know I forget
Mm-hmm.
um, to say, do not come, do not follow me, do not come with me,
Sure.
near me, and stuff like that. I forget to actually say stuff like that. You know, uh, I don't know. I may say every once in a while. I do at the shop when I leave or something like that.
Sure.
Not allowed to come near us or not allowed to follow us home or anything like
Yeah.
that. But
I used to
I
be
don't
real good.
know.
I used to be real good about that. Everywhere we went, I would definitely say that. I'd walk around by myself afterwards, or even in a group. But most times it's by myself, and I'd say, "Okay, thank you for participating tonight, or thank you for showing yourself tonight, or talking with us. Remember, this is where you
Right.
belong. Stay here," kind of a thing. But then, the one that always sticks out at me is Tahlequah, where I said the similar things because that was the first trip we went down there, and I was just left in awe with everything that happened. But I made it a point. The words I changed the words not necessarily nonchalantly, just unexpectedly. I was just talking, and I remember saying, "You're not allowed to follow us home. You're not allowed on my property." I remember saying those words on my property, and that's when I had the thing the next day. Well, first of all, that night we got home, I had something rush up on me that chased me into my porch. I'm like, "What in the hell was that?" I could feel it run up on me. And then the
Right.
next morning I came out,
Right.
right at sunrise, and I saw that black shadow that was at the edge of my property, like just staring me down, and then dissipates. So it was just as if to say, "Hey, I can come here if I want to. How dare you say don't come to my property?" And it plagued me for a while, after that. And even when we wrote the book, we talked about this before. When we wrote our chapters for the book, I remember things banging on my walls at night when I'm late at night writing my chapters for the book. We're talking about the life of agony. No, I'm sorry, that's a band. The agony that remains. That book, Jason, they can't see it.
I
Agony
know
that
it, but you
remains.
are
Yeah,
just so you can read it.
by our buddy Brandon Callahan out of Kansas City. That book, sorry. We were writing that chapter, and I thought it was crazy, and I'm like, this is weird, So I messaged Brandon Callahan the next day. I said, "Hey man, here's my stuff. this story writes itself some days because I'm out here writing my chapter and my parts to it, and I'm hearing all these reactions in my house, and I haven't had these reactions for a while. And Callahan said, "Oh, I know. When I'm doing my stuff too with this book, it's the same things that are happening to me too. They're banging on my doors. They're opening doors and closing. I mean, so he kind of validated my suspicions. I'm like, wow, well, okay, it's not just me being crazy. It's happening to all of us apparently. So,
Right.
sorry, I'm trying to figure out what Oh, cool. Yeah, Brent. That's not.
No,
Oh, sorry, Brent.
Yeah, I saw
Said
that too.
about getting Darren Evan on here. Yeah, we'll definitely try. And I saw Lena made a cool comment. Well, cool to me. She said she's actually seen the planchette, which is the little white
I read
placard kind of
I
thing.
read
Whatever.
that.
She said she's seen it move by on the board itself, untouched. So that's pretty fascinating. I would love to see that. I'm always trying to get that crap to happen everywhere we go, whether it be a doll moving or something, and everybody gets pissed off at me. Like, don't make it move, I'm like, why? That's why we're here.
I know. It's the whole reason why we do all this stuff. That's why I don't understand all the people that run and scream and, too afraid to actually go into a room or anything. It's like, I see something, I run toward it.
You're
You
right.
do the same thing. We have
know.
been since day one. We just run.
Yeah, but I
we run
never claimed to be
to
sane,
it.
though.
Hey, have we ever?
No.
Any of us?
It might put the
I mean,
N word on there. The insane, maybe. No, that's what I always say. Most sane people run away from it. We run towards it. So we've always have. It's just bizarre. It's just second nature to us. I don't know what it is, but yeah. I mean, that's what we're there for, to investigate, to find out what's making that noise, or who's talking, or who did I just see walk down the hall was that couldn't have been anybody because everybody's behind us or something. It's
right. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know Lena. Lena says she works with spirits, and spiritual activity daily, but she doesn't do Ouija. I don't normally either, and I haven't really. I mean, I did as a kid, just as a novelty kind of a thing. I was like second grade. My buddy had one. He's like, "Hey, you want to do this board with me?" I'm like, "Okay, why not?" But we didn't really have anything happen, to my knowledge. I was also, like I said, second grader, a dumb second grader. But we tried something similar. Now I have seen the other spirit boards that are a little different, with the little the prism on there with the you swing a chain back and forth, whatever. Those I think can do things also too, but I mean obviously you can manipulate those just as much by me moving my wrist a certain way and kind of. I mean everything's fakeable in this field, unfortunately. I mean we've had it happen before.
Yeah.
I joined the team. I remember them guys talking about a guest whispering in it by the recorders, and it sounds like a ghost. Until they found out on camera, oh, it's that freaking dude that was there doing this, and they were so mad, that somebody go out of their way to do that. Sorry, you were going to say
a lot of teams actually do that,
Possibly. I mean, well, TV shows do it, so I mean.
So, question for you, and for any viewers too.
Sure.
So, do you honestly think that there is a set of rules for spirits that we tell them, you can't come to my house, you can't follow me, don't touch me? Do you really think that that is true? Because I mean, as we're alive, we do whatever we want, we go wherever we want, we go to places, we step up into people's homes that they didn't really invite us, so we just go.
Right.
I mean, normally we know the people, but we go.
Honestly, I doubt it. I think it's more of just a peace of mind for the person saying these words when you go to this location. It's just to say, hey, I protected myself. Well, it goes the same things too. I know. I mean, some people carry certain types of crystals on them, and whatever else. Blessed,
Exactly.
Blessed. What's his name? Oh God, I'm terrible at this. I should know this. The angel Michael. Is it Mike?
Michael.
Saint Michael, whatever. All I can think about is Michelangelo. Sorry, Ninja Turtle fans, but they carry the blessed. What?
Did you just hear a voice?
No.
Okay, I heard a voice as you were. Well, when when you were trying to say the word Michael, I swear I heard a voice through my headphones that said Michael.
Oh, huh. I said Michael.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, this was a distinct whisper that was not your voice. So.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. No, but.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can protect yourself so much, and maybe it does do the trick. I don't know. I've tried, like I talked about, I've tried using certain types of stones just because a buddy of mine gave me them because he was concerned for
Yeah.
me because it worked for him, and I was like, I'll try them. Let me have them, yeah. And I had the exact
So
negative effect.
so what's your thoughts on them and stuff like that?
I know they work for some people. I know, like I know some of our good people, our good friends, close friends use them, and
Yeah.
they swear by them, and I'm glad. That's if
Do,
that's
do you
what can
think
help
it's
you.
more of a do you think it's more of a state of mind?
I think it's part of it. I mean, definitely part of it. But
Yeah.
we always talk about objects holding energy. I mean, it's the same thing. In essence, you're using it to thwart off energy, so bad energies possibly. So I think they do help.
Yeah.
Those that need, and those the people that put their really strong beliefs behind them, too. I think that really helps them. Like I said, I tried, and I thought maybe I would just, yeah, you're crazy. Give it a few more days, and it just got worse. I still have
Right.
them. I just kind of put them in a secure place, boxed up, tucked away. And yeah, I know certain types of stones do different things. But I had like obsidian. I had a couple other things that were supposed to be the ones that were gonna help, and it didn't.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I welcome the challenge. I walked that line. I know, and I'm not trying to be Zach Baggins, whatever the hell his name is, whoever he goes by this week. I'm not trying to be him, or I want to get possessed every week because I don't have a TV show to follow me around to pretend I'm possessed or be possessed. Number one. So if it happens, it's going to happen for real. Unfortunately, I mean we get
Right.
influenced by a lot of things. I know we've talked about it. You and Renee had the incident, in Oberlin that was pretty wild. Why didn't it attack me? Us three were together. I
Right.
mean, what do you think about that? What's your thought on that?
Um, I think it was trying to in a way, but I feel like maybe you were more of the one in charge that night
Uh huh.
because you were the one asking all the questions. You were the ones being a little bit more forceful about stuff.
Gotcha.
Whereas Renee and I were kind of the viewers of stuff. I just don't remember talking a lot myself. I was too busy paying attention and watching and stuff. Not saying you weren't paying attention, but
Right. Right.
I mean, you freaking hear everything that happens. But
Except for Michael and getting called here in the
I,
podcast.
yeah, that was weird. Um, it was, I don't know. That night was a very odd night. I didn't feel like I was myself the moment we were there.
Right.
I didn't feel like I was actually. Normally, I go in thinking, okay, I've got some years behind me on this. I can handle it no matter what. Nothing's going to touch me and go home with me because when I go home, I blank it out and I don't usually have anything happen with me.
Mm-hmm.
But that night, oh my God, it was once Renee got physically attacked, it really startled me. And
Sure.
I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe there is something really to this. And the fact that I actually saw a spirit, okay, I saw a shadow figure walk up the stairs
Mm-hmm.
from the basement, and it was in plain view. I saw the figure walk up just a few steps as if they were just looking at us and then just slowly backed away, back down to the basement. That itself uh, startled me. I was like, okay, I feel like that person's in charge.
Sure.
I felt like I was just belittled on that.
Gotcha.
So by that spirit, I don't know. I've never had that happen before or since, but that night in that house, that was very weird.
Yeah. And that's like, it's just like you guys were taking on the persona, the people that lived in the house, kind of in a way where Renee got touched on her leg with that handprint, like it left an indentation on her, like kind of like a burn mark in a way on her hand. It turned into a bruise on her leg. I'm sorry, it turned into a bruise. You can see the long
Yeah,
fingers on there, and then you just being like, affected.
I became a dick.
Became. What do you mean
Basically.
became?
Oh
Okay,
well, I
I'm
know
sorry.
it.
Was this
It
thing on?
really
I'm
came
sorry.
out.
No, I'm kidding.
It really came out. It really came out.
No,
But
you just were real standoffish and just you had a blank stare on your face. It was just bizarre. And
Yeah.
at first, when we were driving back, I thought you were just kind of tired, and I'm sure part of that was, but it got a little weird, more noticeable that as soon as we pulled into Roast driveway and somebody came up and tried to knock and say bye to you, you just kind of gave them a dirty look, like you just stared at them.
Well, one of those people was a certain person, so
Well, yeah, but
I wasn't in the mood to talk.
yeah, but nah, but it was different, a little different. At least you would just acknowledge like, hey, whatever, But this one, you just kind of
Yeah, I
gave him a
know.
quick once over, looked to your right at him, and then looked back, and that was it. It's like, whoa. He's like, what the hell? What's that about? I said, he's just tired. I think I probably said that, but I could tell something was going on. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it was just crazy. I mean, these things happen. Like you said, we can only do so much to protect ourselves with saying things, And then, like I said, maybe it's like you said, gives yourself a peace of mind to function in daily life by doing that.
yeah.
I mean, we do that
I
all the
just
time
still,
when
I am.
I was gonna say we do
Yeah,
that all the time when something happened to us. We're like, please just let me do this one thing, whatever, and I promise I'll never ask again. Whatever kind of a mentality, and then 2 weeks later we're doing the same shit over again.
yeah, yeah. We do. And what if that it's the same spirit that ends up at that same location? Got like freaking these guys again. They said if I did it one time, I wouldn't have to do it again, and they'd freaking leave. But then here they are.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, how many times have we been to Dodge and we say that just do this and we'll leave, and here we are coming back again and again and again to ask more questions. And hey, like a
Right.
parlor trick, can you do this for me?
Well, there's
Eventually a spirit's got to be like, screw you.
they're probably saying that from the first minute you walk in, and you're like, oh my god, you again? You're back. But not
Well, we
you
get
personally,
that.
but
We
in
get that
general.
feeling, from like the shop and stuff like that,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
No, I was gonna say. Oh, one thing I do, like you were talking about, we say, just one more time and then we'll leave, whatever. I make it a point to say, if you make, if you throw this rock across the room, I'm making something up obviously, but I promise I'll leave right now. And I mean, I'll leave this area basically. I'm not saying I'm going to leave the building and go home, pack it up. I'm just saying I'm leaving right now, and I'll leave. If it does happen, I'll leave. But then doesn't mean you guys can't go back and do things in that same trip or whatever. It's just I'll keep my word, man. I'm not gonna lie to those
right.
spirits. I mean, they were people once. I'm not gonna lie to them. I was trying to see what they were saying. Sorry, the chat
I
line.
know. I'm reading too.
But no, I was trying to think of what else, if anything. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's been a lot of weird things just everywhere. I mean, obviously with the year going the way it is, and just activity. I mean, some weird, bizarre activity that I don't know if it's like I said we talked about because people are home more now that there's noticing more activity. I mean, our caseload just keeps on every day. It's like, hey, somebody contacting us, with, hey, I got this question. Hey, I know Corona is happening, but can you come out and we're talking like
Yeah.
different states. It's just like holy crap. I mean, I would like to hit them all, but unfortunately, you can't. I mean, and when travels, some states, Kansans are were banned for a while. You can't even go over to other states. We're on the naughty list, and but yeah, I got another one just a couple nights ago, Friday night, Jason. Matter of fact, late night and Saturday morning, somebody said they just moved into a house and they started off with, "Hey, I know Corona, the pandemic's happening, so you probably we're not going to do any investigating, but just want some advice." And same thing with one. I know you told them to reach out to one of our good friends.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
does she know that yet?
Yeah, I contacted Lena.
Okay, that's because
Uh,
Lynn's watching. I didn't want to
so.
throw her name out there. So yeah, we
Well,
had.
I just asked her on the chat too, so
Oh, okay, but yeah, we had a
I
request.
just wanted to make sure.
Sure, sure. We had a
Yeah.
request, for a case that unfortunately we just can't get to, and they asked specifically, do we know somebody who has a psychic or medium capabilities, and we do, and people that we definitely trust. Lena Townsend being the one that we trust, and she's on the chat right now. I've seen her a couple times chime in, which is great. So yeah, yep. So, but yeah, so we referred them to her because she can definitely help out. We just
Yeah.
can't be everywhere. I mean, we still have people waiting, on the wait list pretty much because of had them all set up before Corona hit, and then we're like, let's step back a little bit, which I need to reach out
Yeah.
to a couple of them to see how they're doing, because it's been a couple weeks since I talked to some of them. But yeah, no,
Yeah, we need to finish up a couple too. So
yeah, definitely. So, but I'm trying to think of anything. Yeah, no, there's just been some weird things. I've been seeing a lot of cool stories, and I know you have too. We've been talking privately on the chat lines and stuff about, have you seen this yet? And then like, don't bring it up, because I want to definitely bring it to the
I
surface.
almost ruined it. I almost ruined it on that one.
But the one we're talking about is the little girl in the cemetery. Well, she's visiting. Well, do you know more of the story? I know you can tell the story if you know it.
I don't. I think okay. So
No,
there is a
go ahead.
what?
Sorry, I'm making fun of you.
What?
Go ahead.
Stop it. I'm not talking with my hands. How about that?
I bet you are. I'm gonna start
I
pulling
know.
it up.
I
I'm
am.
gonna start pulling up on screen here so people at home can see what we're talking about.
Yeah. So apparently, this family had their little boy pass away, and then they started to notice that his gravesite was being messed with. So, with permission of the cemetery, they were able to put out a surveillance camera or a trail cam. I don't know what they used to videotape overnight, and what they caught on camera just baffled the hell out of them.
Yep. It's on camera
So,
right now. Screen right now. So what you're seeing
yeah.
is the grave with the little lights, and stuff like that. You see there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 or 7 little solar panel lights around the grave of their child.
Yeah.
And there you see the little girl in full middle of the screen there. Well, why is there a child in the middle of the freaking cemetery at night? Well, guess what? This is weird. They have another deceased child. Is that the way I understand the story? That she's visiting her brother's grave.
It's not a sibling.
I thought it was. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I just thought it was just like a random female little girl spirit that is just like seen on camera coming over to like mess with or maybe coming to visit. I'm not sure. I got to read more about it. I'm so
Sure.
sorry.
No. I saw it and I bookmarked it because I was like, I'm gonna bring this to the podcast. I know the guys. I want them to see it too. And then Jason's a spoiler. All spoilers. I'm just kidding. Um,
I try not to. I took it away very quickly.
yeah, which
But
is
there's
funny.
more pictures to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put some more here. I'll read. I'll say what it says here. It's coming up slowly but surely. It says mother claims girl recorded at man's grave
Oh man.
is her murdered 2-year-old daughter.
Oh
So
damn.
yeah, it's in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Let me see here real quick here. I'm trying to read real fast here. It says her last name is Sandra Gonzalez. She says she claims that her deceased daughter that can be seen on security video from a Las Cruces cemetery. She shared still images from the security camera. It had been the camera had been mounted in a tree by the family of the man buried there. Excuse me. So the family had said that, not this family, but not her, but the family whose grave it is, said the man's grave had been vandalized and they wanted to record the person responsible. And but instead of capturing an adult vandalizing a gravesite, the camera recorded what appears to be a young girl walking to and stopping at the grave. Appears to be a 2-year-old girl who was murdered back in 2017 and whose grave is found in the same cemetery. And the mother whose daughter it is knows what her daughter looks like, obviously, and claims it's her too. It's just crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me see if I can get. I have the picture of the little girl. You didn't put that picture, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I just sent you the ones.
I'll get that put up real quick.
I just sent you the one of all the screenshots of her out in there.
I mean,
wow.
It looks like her. So give me a second here. I'm gonna put that up here into.
Wow. So you got an actual photo of her.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Let me get that up here. I'm gonna send it to you too, Jason. You'll see it here in just a second. That's the way I'm gonna save it. Okay. So give me a second here. I'll pull that girl up. I'll pull that picture up also. Because it's tragic, number one. It's sad, but it's also kind of, I don't know. It's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of surreal. I mean, not surreal. Just kind of, I can't think of what word I want to use in this case, but in this situation. So okay, so I'm putting her on screen right now. So the girl on the left is unfortunately the little 2-year-old girl that was murdered. Um, nice sound effects. Um, sorry, I hear Jason's,
Yeah, I hear him.
which is fine. Let me put that more on the center screen. Do diligence, do justice, whatever. Not due diligence, but due justice. So yeah, that's the story of the little girl. It's crazy. I mean, it's sad, but at least I mean, if it's truly her, at least she's, I don't know, doing well in the afterlife. I guess it's unfortunate. I don't know how she got murdered, and I really don't want to dive too deep into that because I don't know. If you have, I used to be pretty hardened, as far as emotional and stuff. I didn't really care much, but
Wow.
once I had kids of my own, stories like
Do you
this,
think?
I hate to
Do
even
you
think
think
about.
that's really her?
I mean, who am I, once again, who am I to say it's not?
I know. Who's to say it's not?
I mean, if that's what the woman's whose daughter it is believes, then so be it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the hair looks slightly different because the girl
I know.
looks
That's what I
looks
was
a little
looking at.
curlier, and the one on the right looks a little straighter. But it's a
It
security camera.
it
It's grainy.
it is. I just don't see the dark curly hair.
Yeah, but I mean, once again, it's the afterlife.
I know.
What do they look like? Who do they look like? Once
Maybe she
again,
didn't want to deal with the curly hair anymore. So
right? Maybe she's like, now that I'm deceased, I can have any hair I want, any shape, color, whatever, length, you name it, and maybe that's how she's living life. That's too bad. That little girl's cute.
that's so sad
It
that
breaks my
she's
heart.
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but maybe she's like I said. Maybe she is visiting this guy. Maybe the guy is there too, and they talk to each other or hang out. Maybe she's trying
Shoot.
to connect
Maybe
with him.
she's doing that with everybody.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, it's a good sad story, and I mean, but yeah, it made the rounds this week, and I want to say there's video of it. I'll have to find the video for next week. I mean, of this actual video or the actual like trail cam they put up or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Because that's
Have
crazy.
put up that picture of her
No.
like actually over by the grave and like messing with it.
Okay. I gotta find
Sorry. Please and thank you.
it. There's more
I
here.
have no control of anything.
That's right. You do what I said. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that big of a
Okay.
jerk. I'm a jerk, but I ain't that big of a jerk. So the camera, the picture on screen is one where looks like that looks, God, the more I look at that could be her, man. That picture I put up now, it looks awfully a lot like that picture with her hair, just kind of the way it was designed on there. I don't know. Well, yeah.
Yeah, even Brent
I
says it
thought it was
doesn't
a
even look
boy.
like her
But look
too.
at this picture he put up
I
now. Look at
know.
this picture now, Brent, and tell me what you think now. That looks more like a little girl. Possibly. Just, I mean, and there's more pictures we can put up. That looks, like I
Yeah,
said, a
because
lot.
there's one where
That's
she's
a little.
actually bent over
Yeah, I'm
and
just going
messed
in
with it.
order. Yeah, I'm just going in order.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm giving the people at home, the viewers at home, chance to just start looking. Now, see, the more I put up more pictures here, I'm seeing more of a little girl and maybe it's my eyes saying this, thinking this. So, yeah, look at the next picture. It looks more like a little girl to me. Just how small and.
Andy said it looks like a mullet.
I ignored Andy's comment. I don't want that. You don't want you put that juju on me, Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
You're not putting that bad juju on me. Yeah, so there's another one she's been over. And then there's more. There's a couple more, I think.
See,
More.
that there looks like a little
I
girl.
agree.
Um,
There's about two more I can put up here in just a second here. And yeah, that first one, I always thought that too. Was it the same girl? And is it even a girl? I always thought that. But now that, I've seen these other ones too. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know.
yeah, what breaks my heart is that parents will see that and they just want so much to believe that that is their child
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
But in honesty, in my opinion, I mean, it could very well be her, but the hair does not match whatsoever.
Yeah. And that's the last picture I put up here in a second. It'll take a minute. People at home.
And that's her walking away.
Going away, kind of running away, yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I said, if it helps people get through at night or get through life, whatever, that's my child that's paying people visits. So be it. I mean,
Hey,
it's cool. It's
I love
cool.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I never heard about the guy she's visiting. They haven't really said much about that guy yet. I haven't found anything. But yeah, I'll bring the video next week and we can play this. Hopefully, we'll have the guys back in studio, or even if we don't, we'll make do.
So, do you think that is still her walking away over there?
It's the same person, whoever this
Yeah.
person
Okay.
is. Yeah. Why you don't think it is now?
I don't know. I was just saying, like, that's quite the change of angle of where she was headed.
Yeah. What I'm more curious is that where her grave is. Is she
True.
going back to her grave? I mean, because they said that her grave was
True.
in the same area or the same
Yeah, I mean,
cemetery.
she
So
might be off in that corner over there somewhere.
yeah,
Very
could be.
true.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Oops. I'm trying to bring Jason back, his picture back, and I can't. Oh, I switched it out. That's why. Duh. Hang on one second. I'm coming back with.
You switched it out.
Well, I put the little girl's picture up there in place of you.
Oh.
That's why. There's Jason and Pam again.
Figured you gave me a new face or something.
I can do that. I should do that. But yeah, no, it's a good story. It's one of those ones like making the rounds right now in the paranormal world. Just that one, and there's a couple other ones floating around. But yeah, that one really grabbed my attention, and obviously yours too, because Jason was trying to share it with the group. I'm like, don't share it with the group. I want to talk about it. So,
I know. I get so excited when I see stuff like this that doesn't make any sense. With I don't know. It's just it's heartbreaking in a way with it because of how
yeah.
she's just all by herself and she's going around to different graves. It's sad.
Yeah. Hey, Brent also made a good point. He says he knows Chris Fleming always wants to see the negative to check the authenticity, which I could agree with that. That's not a bad idea. I mean, was this a doctored footage, film, whatever? Because it's easy to fake pictures and videos and whatnot in this,
I know.
unfortunately, in our field. But yeah, no, I would love to know the same thing. That's an excellent point.
Well, somebody could have even took their toddler out there and
Yeah.
made them go do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
is it true? Is it real? Because if so, man, that's a pretty solid, apparition. We've seen,
Yeah.
and we've seen full body. I mean, not just us, people in general have seen full body apparitions. I mean, hell, David Oman talks about
For centuries. Yeah.
David Oman talks about one of the guests who visited his house one day, came in and he was outside with her, the guy she brought with him, and she was in the house by herself, just sitting at the kitchen table, and she sees this woman come, out of the bathroom, and then walks and looks at her, and then heads down the staircase, and she's like, "Oh, cool, David's girlfriend's here," and when David and them came back in, moments later, she's like, "Hey, I saw your girlfriend," and he's like, "What? My girlfriend?" And he was dating a girl at the time. He's like, "Can you describe her to me?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, she had this kind of like short, kind of like a flowery kind of a kind of like 60s skirt, like one of those disco skirts, whatever they call them." And she had like this blondish hair, and brown eyes and stuff. And she looked at me and kind of waved, looked at me and just went down the stairs. And he's like, "Huh? Was she tall, short?" And she's like, "She's kind of tall, maybe 5'10" ish, whatever, It's like, interesting. Well, my girlfriend's not here. Number one, she's blonde, blue-eyed, and real short. So what you saw was not my girlfriend." And they think she saw Sharon Tate in the house. I mean, full body apparition, as physical as you and I are, basically. And the girl was just like, "Oh my god," which that's pretty wild stuff, man. I mean.
So, okay,
Yeah,
I have to ask. So back to
Lena wants me to send the picture to her. I'll give them to you, Lena. Go ahead.
no, okay. So back to our interview with David and everything,
Mm-hmm.
which was awesome and everything. So
he'll be back on the show.
So he's pretty adamant about his own hauntings, and he's pretty adamant that what we heard and what we experienced was bullshit, and he called bullshit and said, "Don't you dare go down that rabbit hole."
He does that well, and I didn't want
I
to.
get it that he's protective, but does he understand that spirits can do whatever the hell they want to?
Well, and that could be part of the thing is maybe he's never encountered Charles in his house, Manson in his house, or Susan Atkins, and maybe because of the minute I
Well, look
walked
at your
in, I brought in
look
shit,
at your background. Look at your background, though. You've been fascinated by this case probably even before he even moved into that house.
Yeah, for sure.
You went, criminal justice background.
Right.
You've just been you've consumed yourself with this case for years, reading the books and everything like that, and you finally being on the property near the land that it happened. I would say that you would have a genuine connection,
Yeah.
with the case and with that energy.
Right.
Not to mention, you hear things and see things that are probably a little bit better than he does.
Maybe.
I would assume.
I don't know. He
I don't know.
surprised. He
I'm
surprised me.
being devil's advocate a little
Yeah.
bit.
He surprised me because
Just
he does see and hear a lot of stuff that most people probably wouldn't. And
well, in
which is
his
good.
house, yes, because he knows his
Right.
house very well.
Right.
So anything out of the ordinary, he's going to pick up on it right away.
Yeah. And like I
So
said,
yeah, so he's going to hear it.
Who's to say, because I was specifically asking that night for them to talking about Charles Manson and Susan Atkins. Who's to say that I didn't invoke them to come out that night, that one time? So maybe that's why he doesn't know that they can come to the house if summoned, kind of a thing. Because let me ask you this: when I came back to Kansas, and we did our own. That was in That was in December 11th of 2019, January whatever of 2020. We were at the shop, or not the shop. We were at the salon doing a live event, our podcast. What did you hear? And that wasn't just that one time; it was multiple times. Lena, we'll get the picture sent to you, Lena. She's leaving for the evening. Sorry.
Give me just a second.
Are you sending pictures to her?
No, not yet.
Okay,
not yet.
Okay. That's fine. No, what do you think? You heard some things and saw some things that, and Jake and them did too, and Dan. That it was all on podcast.
2 seconds. Let me unlock
the
door
fine.
here real quick. Hold on.
You're fine. What I'm talking about is on our show back in January of this year, and I think in February, we did a live on-air podcast on a Sunday night at a location salon here in Kansas, of all places. And I'm just telling.
Okay, sorry about that.
Jason, I'm explaining the situation to him a little bit. We did the live on air, and we were having some interaction through a spirit box with this voice that I heard it. I'm like, that sounds like the same voice I heard in California. It sounds like Charles Manson. I had never let David hear it because he was like, I kind of felt him out that night about it when it actually happened. And his viewers, the people that would follow him out in California, like, that's so Charles Manson. They heard on the podcast right before I even said anything. All I said was, that voice sounds familiar, guys. That's my direct words.
Right.
And that's in California. When I came back, it started happening here again. So maybe I have an ability to talk to him here. Even he knows I can talk to him, so he's gonna come every now and then summon me or whatever you want to call it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Right. So, like Andy said in the chat, that voice is very recognizable.
Yeah.
And Charles, yes, he does have a connection because he did go back to that land. He went to the property after the murders and everything, and he saw what the carnage that they did because he wanted to see it for himself. Plus, he sent them there.
Yep.
And he'd also been there before.
Well, and he came back. They think he went back even later on that night. Like after texting them, came back to the ranch to Spawn Ranch. He asked how it went. Is it done? And everything. He's like, yeah. And
right.
They kind of said we had a little bit of trouble, whatever, And
well,
he went. That's the rumor. He went back and drove back there and checked it out. That's why the next night he went to La Bianca and helped him out and said, "This is how you do it."
Right, because he actually was there prior to the murders because he went there to talk to who lived there. Right. Yeah. So then, I mean, he already had like this anger toward the area. Right. Then he went back. I think it was Tex who actually said that when they arrived back to the ranch, it was Charles and one of the other girls who were kind of dancing around. I think. Right. If I remember this right, they were out dancing around naked.
Yeah.
he asked is everything done? Did you do it the way I told you? And when they said, well, it didn't go off like a hitch, so he got pissed and he drove them back out there and he took a look at everything that happened.
Yeah.
So yes, he was there and part of the land and everything.
Well, and there was even a report that he went there even after Terry Melcher had moved out, before when Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski moved in, because he came to the door and it was actually Jay Sebring answered and was like, "What do you need?" He made his way onto the property past the gate and came and knocked on the door, and they saw him walking towards the front door, and they're like, "Who's this strange guy?" And so Jay Sebring said, "Hey, can we help you? What do you need?" kind of a thing, And he's like, "I'm looking for Terry Melcher or whatever, And they said he moved out a long time ago, and he was like, "Oh, okay." But they remembered what he looked like, this scrawny, scrangly, whatever man, whatever.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's do something special tonight. We're gonna do here. I'm gonna play the California incident. I have the recordings right here. I'm gonna play it for the viewers. I don't know, Jason, if you're gonna be able to hear it or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and play.
That's okay. That's okay. And then I'll tell you what I believe from the shop.
Okay. Let me.
Okay.
Let me get this.
So you do this.
I'm gonna play. This was live on air out there during my investigation. Now, like I said, back in Kansas time, it was like probably 3 or 4 in the morning here, so it was like 1 or 2 over there when I did this. There's 2 EVPs that stand out really good. Let me find it real quick here and make sure I have the right ones here, because I want to play them in succession, because there's... Let me see here. Okay, I'm just going to play this one here. So I have a couple of them actually. Here's one of them right here I'm going to play for the viewers. Bear with me. That sounded like a familiar voice. So he comes to you. Did you hear it, Jason? You probably can't hear it, can you?
No, that's okay.
Okay. Actually, let me do this real quick. You're going to hear it, Jason, because you never heard it before ever. Let me do this with Jason real quick here. I'm going to let him hear this. Okay, here we go. I'll play that one more time. Oops. Hang on. Stupid computer. All right, we're gonna try this again. Here we go. Actually, I'm gonna loop it so people at home can hear it more than once. It's gonna come through. You'll hear my voice repeat about how it's a familiar voice. That's how you know it's looping. That sounded like a familiar voice. That sounded like a familiar voice. That sounded like a familiar voice. Hopefully people at home heard that. The first time, now this isn't even the best part. It's not even the good ones. There's a better one coming up here in just a second. The first voice sounds like it says, it's a male voice. It's like it says, like no one, or you know what, and then it says something like, "What'd you do?" Like, what would you do? Or I don't know if he's answering me directly. But now, as I get into the better ones here, there's one that's the one that everybody on the podcast that night was watching it, and even David's friends were like, "Holy crap, that's Charles Manson." So, let's see here. Okay. I think it's this one right here. Come on, you like to talk big. For a little person. Can you say your name to this device right here? Loud and clear? Okay, viewers at home, are you hearing that voice? That sounds like Charles Manson. I'm just speculating here. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but it sounds like him. He had that southern kind of twangy drawl. Come on, you like to talk big. for a little person. Can you say your name to this device right here? Loud and clear? Okay, viewers at home, are you hearing that voice? That sounds like Charles Manson. I'm just speculating here. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but it sounds like him. He had that southern kind of twangy drawl. Come on, you like to talk big. For a little person. Can you say your name to this device right here? Loud and clear? Okay.
So what do you think that said?
See, I always maintain is like, I did 12 or something like that. The way he does that twangies.
Right.
That's the voice that really got me that night, and that's the one that viewers at home are like, that's Charles Manson. I know it. Friends of David's were telling me this, and even I know Dan was watching it that night when it went down, and he's like, holy crap, dude, that sounds just like Charles Manson.
Was that there at the Omen house?
That's in the on the bottom floor basement. If anybody's watched the Ghost Adventures episode, it's in the spare bedroom downstairs where Nick got trapped in there and he couldn't get out of it because he was so frightened. I guess he made Zach come get him. He was pissed off that they made him go back in the first place. That he was like, "Come get me, or I'm gonna freaking whatever." You know, he starts going off. He threw the camera. He was so pissed that he started getting angry and stuff like that. It's also the same area where I'm in the basement in this area, in this room, the spare bedroom, where I started getting these back pains. Like, I feel like, and I even made the comment on the podcast, not thinking about what I was saying. I was like, man, I got this stabbing back pain, and the victims were stabbed, you know. This is prior to, and I went down to one knee, because I even apologized. Like, I'm sorry, guys, I have to take a break. I kind of kneeled down on one knee. I thought I was going to pass out. I felt like the life was getting drained out of me. That I was so worried that I was thinking, oh crap, if I pass out here, who's going to see me, number one, other than the viewers that were watching? Because David was upstairs. He was expecting, actually, John Doherty of HSFL Paranormal. He was expecting him to show up later on that night too, and he wasn't there yet. So, but yeah, I was like, if I pass out, if something happens to me, who's going to find me? I mean, hopefully the viewers can tell David somehow, but I don't know. Yeah, it's the room with the mirrors, tall mirrors, Dan said, and Dan saw a black shadow behind me, a smaller shadow behind me right after that. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't played it for David ever because I kind of started telling him that night about it, and I was like, he's like, you have an EVP of it? I'm like, well, I have it through this SB7. He's like, well, and he kind of started shooting that down right away. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to press you on it, and then I just let him talk to him. Yeah, it's just it sounds like his cadence, like Charles says. It's Charles Logan, that is, not Manson. Charles Logan on the chat said it sounds like his cadence, but not for sure. Yeah, that's just it. I mean, I don't know. You even hear me saying, I'm not saying it's Charles Manson, but it does sound like an awful lot like him. He has that southern draw that, you know.
Well, we heard it there at the shop. Yeah. You know?
And he was saying things to me. I'm gonna
all five of us.
He says, "I want you." I'm like, "For what?" He's like, "I want to kill you." That's what he told me here in Wichita, and it's the same sounding voice, you know. That's just like
little southern voice.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm not saying it is or isn't, but you know, it's coincidental that I'm out in California. I did capture.
Okay, but
go ahead.
Do you? So back to the shop though. Remember when Dan, you've got the SB7 going, and then Dan puts it up to his chest, his phone, and plays Helter Skelter.
Right.
And through the spirit box, actually for a brief couple seconds, Helter Skelter came through the spirit box.
Yeah, it was coming through, and it happened twice. It did that.
Yeah.
Coming through.
So.
Yeah, and then right before, when this is what Andy was talking about on the chat, we're like, okay, if you're not anything else, we're gonna leave. And then all of a sudden, that one word came through. It goes, "Amen." It's like, okay.
Little southern scrawny voice screaming out, "Amen."
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, is it Charles Manson? Who the hell knows? I mean, we can't really tell. Like I said, unless the ghost comes out from around the corner on camera and says, "Hey, it's Charles Manson. Look at me!" And does a song and dance, and sure enough, it's him. We'll never know. It's just we can speculate all day, but the voice, the cadence is pretty close. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. It was bizarre. The whole thing was bizarre, and I even caught what I think is Susan Atkins' voice, because she has a
Right.
real soft spoken voice. I can play that one. It's hard to hear. I'll play it for you guys if you want to hear it. Um, I'm asking her about Charles Manson and the victims and all this stuff, and I said, you'll hear me say, I even hate to even ask this, but Susan Atkins, and I even paused. I'm like, do you ever show up time to time? And she said something like, what did she say? I can't remember. She's like starts kind of like singing. She's like, I had to do that, right? Kind of a thing. Like basically, she's saying, I had to do these murders because that's the way I got out of it. Because of Charles, basically, is what she's saying. Let me see here. It's kind of hard to hear,
Oh,
but I'll play
to
it.
stay part of the family, they had to,
She's
right?
like, I had to do that, right? And I'm like, and I heard it with my own ears. That's just it. I could hear it in the room. I said, I just heard a female voice. I'll play it. It may not come out very good. And then right before that, she goes, "It's evil." So it's hard to hear because she's whispering, and that's how she is. Her voice is real soft spoken. So I'll play it for you guys. You can form your own opinion. Hopefully, you guys can hear it at home. But this is what I think maybe Susan Atkins in that same area prior to Charles coming through. I mean, I hate to even ask and even bring this up, but I've asked for the victims. Unfortunately, there's people that did this, people that have passed. Susan Atkins, are you anywhere near this area? Do you ever show up time to time?
Are you there?
Right here in front of me at the dark shadow. Yeah. We're playing. I mean,
Okay.
I hate to even ask and share with you and bring this up, but I've asked for the
No,
victims.
no, you're good. You're good.
Unfortunately, there's people that did this, people that have passed. Susan Atkins, are you anywhere near this area? Do you ever show up time to time? I just saw a shadow one break. I'm sorry about that. I played the wrong version of it. That's the original version, the unedited raw version. It's real quiet. Let me play it. I went in and cleaned it up a little bit by raising levels. That's all I did to it. I didn't alter it other than just turning it louder. I played the wrong version of that. Let me play it again. This time I'll share it with Jason so he can hear it too, because he was like, "Hello." 1 second here, Jason. My bad, Jason. I didn't even wanted to listen. Give me a second here.
I just want to be a part of it.
Sorry about that. Let me pull that up real quick. 1 second. Bear with me. I have to grab another file.
Nope.
Cause I separated out to. I was gonna play for David, I just never did. Cause, like I said, I don't know. Like I said, he can form all his own opinions, and it's his house. I'm not gonna. Who am I to tell him what I caught is fact or not fact, whatever, But luckily, I had the podcast going at the same time, so this is all happening at the same time. Okay, here we go. This one's gonna be the better one. Bear with me. Here it comes, and away we go. I mean, I hate to even ask and even bring this up, but I've asked for the victims. Unfortunately, there's people that did this, people that have passed. Susan Atkins, are you anywhere near this area? Do you ever show up time to time? I just saw a shadow one right here in front of me, a dark shadow. I mean, I hate to even ask and even bring this up, but I've asked for the victims. Unfortunately, there's people that did this. That's gonna be right. People that have passed. Coming up right. Susan Atkins, are you anywhere near this area? Do you ever show up time to time? Shadow happens. I just saw a shadow one right here in front of me, a dark shadow. Mind you, I don't know how it's playing across the airwaves. It's very faint, but the thing that's really weird is I could see this figure right before she spoke. You hear me saying all that stuff. I mean, I'm reluctant to even ask if she's there, but something tell me to go ahead and ask. I mean, you're here. And I know that audio's harder to hear. I'll try to clean it up better. It's just she's real faint and whispery, but could hear a woman talking to us, or to me, and I could see the shadow. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't her. I don't know. So be it. But yeah, I didn't know. I never shared any of this information with David, other than just slightly asking him last week, kinda. But I don't
Right.
know. I mean, it is what it is. If it's them, that's awesome for me. And I hope if I did capture him and I do let David hear it, and I will eventually. I'm not going to hide it from him. I'm just going to do some things to present it a little bit better to him. Um, and he gets mad that I invoked this shit. I mean, I don't think he will. Who knows? Maybe he'll be like, "Holy shit," kind of a thing.
Well, I mean, why else be there unless you're going to ask for those spirits to actually try and talk? You know,
Right. And I'm sure
I don't
nobody's
know.
done that.
No, I mean, that's what everybody is there for. They're there because you're 150 feet away from where one of the tragic, mass murders happened. So
Right.
it's like,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know.
I'll try to get everything together that when he comes back on the show here, and hopefully less than a month, because I know he's exhausted from this weekend, and he also wants to he wants to go over all the evidence and stuff to capture that night, and maybe he'll have some of that. Maybe he can bring it to the show that night. We'll see, but I don't know when that's going to be. But I know he's going to do something like that again around Halloween. He mentioned that to me because originally I might be letting some of the cat out of the bag, but I was originally going to be on this episode this past weekend with him. I was going to do a small interview with him, a recorded interview, and we decided to hold off till Halloween's episode. So hopefully I can get on that. Maybe we'll
That'll
see.
be awesome.
We'll see. But but yeah, no. Like I said, I love the guy. The guy's fascinating. He can talk, as you guys can see on the podcast. He can talk for hours, which is great. Like I said, I told these guys be ready. I expected him to be on the show longer than the time we had him because our times got mixed up as far as California versus Kansas time. They're 2 hours behind us, and I told him, we're live 7 to 9. Good old Kansas. Just kidding. And he's 6 to 8 his time. So, but he said I can't be there till 6, which he meant 6 his time. But I don't know. It was confusing. It actually ended up being 7 our time, but no biggie. So we'll have him back on the show and we'll talk through some things. And like I said, he invited us back out there. We're gonna go out there as a team and we're gonna have some fun. And for sure, he'll let us go live that night. I guarantee it. I mean,
I'm gonna be like a little kid in a candy store there.
I'm anxious to see what you guys experience, and just because, like I said, the side of it, the outside of it, even driving up there alone is amazing because you're driving up into the hills of
Right.
Benedict Canyon, Beverly Hills. It's in Beverly Hills, and it's just part of history. It's kind of like the whole JFK thing, Jason. The feeling you get when you're down there. This is history. You recognize the sites, and you're like, holy crap, this is
Oh
what
yeah.
happened, kind of a thing. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't know how I was gonna feel. I mean, I was even actually nervous going up there because I was just like, this is really happening, and just being there, I'm like, I can't believe I'm actually here. This is the drive where it happened. I walked up to the gate, touched it, and just saw the telephone pole and everything, and then going into David's house, seeing this house that's been on every TV show, every ghost show out there, and then some. Everybody
Yeah.
knows who
See,
David Omenhouse is in the paranormal field, overseas too. Go ahead.
see, like how you are with that site and everything, which I'll probably be excited and can't wait to be like up close to the gate and everything. But I'm that way when I've gone to the Jesse James sites and
Right.
stuff like that. Being
Yeah.
inside the actual cabin that he was born and raised in, and everything that the Pinkertons attacked, and knowing that everything in the house is still pretty much original
Yep.
from when he was alive, and the property, and all the way to JFK to there at the book depository building, where being inside, oh god, it was amazing standing in the same spot where Oswald walked out the doors.
Right.
Just all that stuff. It's a weird feeling. It's so surreal knowing I've seen this all on TV. I've read about it so much, but here I am in the actual location. So
Exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, it's part of our history, you know, and it's something I've always been fascinated with. Before I even knew of David Oman, you know, I knew about the case because before I was even born, it had happened, and as I got old, you know, into my teenage years, I just started getting into reading stuff, history, and everything else, and unfortunately, some of it's the darker side of things, you know, serial killers and stuff like that and whatnot. And that's kind of what got me into paranormal also too. Was just like, man,
Yeah.
just everything, like from Bigfoot to UFOs to serial killers, just the darker things that people at the time, you know, were a little bit more taboo to talk about. You know, nobody really wanted to be around that stuff. They looked at you weird if you talked about this kind of stuff. And now it's all the rage kind of a thing, you know, with all the ghost shows and the 300 paranormal
Yeah.
teams in Kansas alone. I said Wichita, in Kansas alone, whatever, you know, possibly that were active at one time. But
Yeah. I remember when I first started, it was like 200 plus
yeah,
teams in Kansas, and I'm sure there's 100 more now. So
but we're one of the ones that have lasted for over 10 plus years because we're passionate about what we do. And the 100th episode, and I think Brant, if he's still on here, he's the one that actually said it. He's like, "You guys are very professional. I appreciate you guys doing what you do because I mean, you guys just take it serious, you know, and you're very informative because that's because we're very researched. We're constantly learning new things about everything, whether it be a history, whether it be scientific, whether it be something. We like to challenge ourselves personally as individuals, and that's why we do this because I love talking to. I love scary things. I mean, if I'm gonna get scared, I mean, so be it. But it hasn't happened in a long time, you know, into a place that's freaked me out. But it does
right.
happen every now and then. You know, I've been doing this for almost 10 years, the group, and it does happen occasionally. You'll get into a location, it's like, I don't feel this feels uneasy. But and in some of the places, it's not where you think it is. That's what's surprising to me. It's like, man, I shouldn't be scared here, but damn, I am. Nah, it's all good though.
It's kind of like how Jake goes in thinking it's not going to be that active and kind of worried that it's not going to be active. And then he'll have one of the best nights he's ever had.
Right.
You know, he'll have stuff thrown at him like a cowboy hat, stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, it's nuts. Sometimes it just it blows you away when you don't know what to expect sometimes with
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. Especially those nights we talked about where not every night's exciting. You know, you go to a location and it's boring as hell, so you think. And then you go back and listen to the video or the audio recorders, you watch the video, and you're like, holy crap, this place was very much alive. We just didn't happen to hear it in the moment. And is this real life? Because I'm catching so much crap, you know, so much things that are mind blowing. So it's not always what you expect. Basically, sometimes it's the unexpected that happens, which makes it great.
Right,
Yep. So that's why we
right.
do this partially. So yeah, it'd be cool. Sorry, I read some chats here and stuff.
Well, sir,
Yeah, it's about that time, guys.
no, you're good.
We got about 5 minutes left. Any kind of final thoughts on anything? Just we talked about tonight, or anything at all, or so let's go back to the video. The picture of the little girl. Is it little girl or not? What's your thoughts?
Um, I would think that to me, bottom line, I think it is a real girl out there by the grave.
Mm-hmm.
Is she alive or dead? I don't know. That's the
Right.
hard thing. But if the story is true that they were allowed to put out a camera because the grave site was being messed with,
Sure.
and they caught this little spirit wandering around, then I gotta hand it to them. That was probably some of the best damn footage out there right now.
I agree. It's very compelling if it is true. Yeah. I'm like you. I'm not against it. I mean, the story is fascinating and also tragic at the same token. But if it's something that helps these families get through in life, the after you know that their loved ones are gone, but they're being taken care of, then so be it. I mean, that's
Right,
I would like to believe it's real.
right. I just don't want to be one of those jerks that are like, oh, I can't believe it because I wasn't there and I didn't get to see it. You know, but you can't be everywhere. You got to actually try to take some of these stories and footage and everything and take it for what it is. The possibility of capturing the Holy Grail on camera, and it could be with this little girl.
Yeah. Because like we talked about before, even capturing something on camera is a feat in itself because you have to have the camera pointed in the right direction at the right damn time. I mean, and this
Exactly.
was enough to where it warranted them to set up a camera at night so they could see what's going on at this grave, and they maybe caught something. That'd be awesome. So,
Yeah,
you're talking about food. You're making me hungry.
absolutely.
They're talking about food on the chat line: cheeseburgers and BLTs and whatever else.
Oh, I know. There's dinner waiting for me
Oh,
after
oh
this.
shoot! I'm
So,
gonna go eat too. I know I haven't ate either. So, but no, like I said, it's fun to think. I mean, we're obviously not alone out there. We can't we shouldn't be. We can't be. I mean, and if people are closed minded that don't believe in that stuff, that's fine too. Believe in your beliefs. We're not here to tell you that ghosts are real or not real. We're just here to show you, and hopefully present some things that we've caught along the way, or some of the stories that other people have caught along the way. And we're here for you guys for entertainment, and we love what we do. We're passionate people, so that's awesome. I mean, I like
I
that
don't
too.
know.
So
I agree with you 100%, but also the people who don't believe, they just kind of aggravate me.
yeah, but that's anything, Jason. That's like
Because they're not willing to go even try to do what we do. And that's what I always tell them.
yeah,
Until you actually come out with us to do and get out of that bubble of your life, you'll never have an answer to those questions.
right. And I love the people that we've turned. I mean, not even trying to turn them, like
Right.
especially the homeowners. I always talk about it's usually the mom that contact us, the wife contacts us, and the husband and boyfriend are like, oh God, I ask them, what do you think? Some of them are like, if she believes it, I believe it, I guess, but I have never experienced anything. Or, like, I don't believe in it. Sometimes if they say
Right.
something, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I mean, hang out with us tonight, see what you think, and then they have something experience. They experience something, and they're like, is that what it is this whole time? Oh my God! And then they become believers sometimes, not
Right.
always, but the ones that
Right.
have changed, it's like I didn't ask you to change. You changed on your own, man. And then after that, they're hooked. They're like a kid in the
Right.
they're like you talked about earlier, the kid in the candy store. Like, oh my God, this is crazy. I mean, one such case was out that Jason didn't get the chance to talk or be a part of. Was out in Park City, North Wichita, and luckily Renee was there and Jeremiah was there that they saw all this happening, and and Roth was there too, I
Right.
believe. And
Yeah.
the guy was hilarious after that. He was just like, "Give me another beer." He was just like, "I can't believe this is happening." So, and after that, he loves us after that. So I'm like, "Hey man, that's awesome." So
A place and something that I always used to love doing was when I used to be able to take the Wichita Ghost Tour, the
mhm.
whole bus, like 40 people,
Right.
and I used to be take them into the Forum Theater.
Yes.
When we used to be able, I would have so many naysayers and non-believers, but by the time they went inside for that 15 minutes that I took them in for a quick little tour and a couple stories, they'd walk back out to the bus and man, they were hooked and looking at me going, I can't explain what just happened. I was like, I know. You either heard something, felt something, or you saw something,
Yep.
you know?
And that place, I always said, if you can't see something paranormal here in this place, you're not trying
Oh,
hard enough because they're there everywhere. Every corner has something unique, and it made itself known plenty of times. So,
yeah.
yes, sir. All right, man. Well, it's 9 o'clock on the dot. So, I think
Alrighty.
we're going to call it evening this evening, guys. But we thank all you
Sounds
viewers for
good.
tuning in. Thanks for Jason for. I know, like I said, we want to wish him and his family good luck. Hopefully, fingers crossed, and everything turns out the right way. And yeah, let us know whatever we can do
Thank
to
you.
help
Thank
you.
you.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I might be
viewers
doing
are
this next week.
yeah. I think we should probably just to be on the safe side. So
Yeah,
and
probably.
yeah, we'll call it by ear. We'll play it by ear once we get some more information. So, which brings a good point, guys. I mean, nobody likes what's going on. Nobody likes wearing the mask. Nobody likes whatever. We're not here to debate that. We're not going to even discuss that. It's just the fact is, it's a real thing, man. It's out there. We've all been affected by it in some way, shape, or form. Whether we lost our favorite movie star, rock star to it, whether we lost a good family friend to it. I mean, it is what it is. There's no end in sight right now. But do whatever you can to protect yourself, your neighbor, your grandparent, your child, whoever, because it's affecting everybody. I mean, it is what it is, and let's get on with life and write off 2020 as the year that was, and let's go to 2021 with a brand new thing, a brand new outlook on life, and we can get out there and start public investigations, ghost hunting at people's houses, paracons to maybe a California trip. So, like I said,
Sounds good.
stay positive, stay protected, stay safe, guys. That's all we can say. So, but on that note, we are Cryptic Heartland. This was episode 113. We'll see if maybe next week some of the guys will be back, and we'll see where Jason will be. Hopefully he'll be in studio. If not, he'll be at his house again. So be it.
Absolutely.
But,
I'll give you a different picture.
Okay. I'll put my own up there for you next time.
Okay.
So, I'm just kidding. So no, but everybody, thank you guys. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button. Like I always tell you, tell a friend, tell a stranger, tell somebody strange that hey, Cryptic Heartland's out there and they're trying to get the truth out there. So as much as we can. So we'll see you guys next weekend and have a good week, guys.